George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people that we feel good about. Our good buddy, Dr. Lomax Campbell, is in the house. He's the founding president and CEO of the Third Eye Network. They are an innovative multicultural management strategy consortium serving a diverse national multi-sector clientele. That's the short version. There's a lot more to it than that. But basically, the brothers' research is about us and how we move through the world. That's a very short way of saying it. His research is much more complex than that. But we welcome Dr. Lomax Campbell. But before we even do any of that, because he'll fill in the blanks about his background, we want to congratulate Dr. Lomax Campbell and his beautiful wife, Ashley, on the birth of their baby girl. You can say her name if you want to, but we're so happy for you. And you're a first-time dad. Let me start with that. What was that like, my brother?
I started drinking coffee not too long ago, George. But before I say too much more, thank you again for having me back on your show. I think this is our third time doing it. And, at
Yes.
Third Network, we do things in threes. So thank you. This is a special call tonight. So yes, my wife and I had a beautiful bouncing baby girl, 8 pounds, 2 ounces on September 28th of this fall. And we decided to name her Aja Zola Janae Campbell. And head full of curls, beautiful, spirited and peaceful at the same time. So first time dad, it's been an interesting experience. I've wanted to get to this point in my life for about 15 years, and I'm just grateful and humbled that the ancestors saw fit to send one of theirs back to the earth to be with us. And so we're going to guide this one the right way.
Tell me what her name means.
So Aja Zola Janae, it's a West African and South African name. And so Aja is both Yoruba and Swahili. It literally means a couple of things. It means whirlwind. It means forest. I'm sorry, it meant wild wind, but it also means spirited one. And so we said, we're going to go with spirited one. Zola means remains at peace. So spirited one who remains at peace. And then lastly, Janae, is actually Zola is South African, Janae is West African, and Janae means gift of God. So spirited one who remains at peace and is a gift of God.
How do you spell Janae?
It's a J-E with a flat line over the E, and then N-E, Janae.
Okay. I love it. And then the Zola, is it a click Zola?
I thought about that, but I didn't want folks cussing me out. So it is literally from the Osa people.
Yes.
So you technically probably could get away with Ola.
Yes,
but
yes.
But I don't speak that language, and so we just say Zola with an X.
Yes. So so congratulations to you. Welcome to fatherhood, and we love the fact that you and your wife have been blessed, and I love how you said the ancestors sent one back for us, and so we hope and pray that things go well for you. So we invited you here, Dr. Lomax Campbell, because you have your hands in a couple of pots, but we're specifically talking about Global Entrepreneurial Week. Is that what we're talking about? And you got an event coming up that you want people throughout the region, throughout the sound of my voice, to know about, to come and participate in. And so this is a perfect time to do that. And you also, I think, want to remind us of some of the initiatives that's making upstate hot for opportunities. So let's start with the entrepreneurial summit that you're putting together in line with a global movement that will align Rochester, New York, for example, as the only place in New York State that is recognizing this international phenomenon.
Fantastic. And thanks for the setup. For those listening under the sound of your voice, my voice in this time and in space, There's historically only four ways to build wealth in the world. And we're talking financial wealth, not health as wealth, not knowledge and history and heritage as wealth. There's different types of wealth, but that's another conversation. But traditionally, you would either have someone own real estate or equipment like property. You would have a person um, have a retirement plan through their job. And so when they retire, they get that pension fund and you pass that on to the next generation. The next one is inheritances. So when people leave you things like, granddad's musket or mom and grandma's necklace or, the heirloom diamond earrings, that was one of the four ways. The next one was you start a business. And the last one is you hit the lottery. you know, you win $10 million, and spread that out the rest of your life. Those are traditionally the ways people build wealth in this country. And so often our people have not been afforded the opportunity to build wealth because we know what happened here. We were first stolen and then subjugated to to be free labor and then marginalized through Jim Crow and other laws that even after being free on paper kept us from being able to keep what we've amassed, right? So we know that history. Global Entrepreneurship Week is an international celebration of entrepreneurship that has been going on for 17 years. And it's been organized by an organization called Global Entrepreneurship Network, who holds this for the world. Global Entrepreneurship Week caters to 10 million people with 40,000 events across 200 countries each year. And not one community in New York State organizes a Global Entrepreneurship Week of events. I happen to sit on a national board with an employee who works at Global Entrepreneurship Network. And I told her, hey, her name's Cecilia. I said, Cecilia, last year, my company began running the local economic development corporation as like a third party administrator in Rochester. And I'm thinking about doing an annual economic development summit to celebrate workforce development, community development, business development, and economic development as a whole. And we were looking to do it in September, and we were talking a little bit earlier this year. And she said, you all don't have a GEW community in Rochester. Would you consider Third Eye Network becoming that organizer? And would you consider doing your event during Global Entrepreneurship Week? And it was a done deal after that. It's free 99 to become an organizer of Global Entrepreneurship Week. Free 99. And literally people travel from all over the world to find out about events in the areas that they're visiting or they live in or whatever. So we started working on that, and we're doing our Global Entrepreneurship Weeks this year. It's a pilot
Right.
On November 20th and 21st at a place called Artisan Works. And even the story of that institution, which is a local private art gallery and museum in our community, it's a 25-year-old gym that started out as a main showroom that a gentleman who recently passed away, Louis Petticone, set up. It started out as a showroom and over 25 years expanded to 5 buildings worth of artwork and
Wow.
sculpture and things that you used to see in 1950s movies. In fact, they actually have one of the few DMCs from Back to the Future that was ever made in their museum. They got original pictures and paintings of Marilyn Monroe in their museum. And in this museum, they have 12 event venues, 4 of which we're going to be engaging with over this 2-day event. It's huge.
And so the Global Entrepreneurial Week is the week before.
No, Global Entrepreneurship Week this year runs from November 13th to November 24th.
Ah, okay.
And we're right in the middle on the 20th and 21st.
Okay. Outstanding.
Yeah, next year we want to make sure we work with partners that have something every day during Global Entrepreneurship Week.
So tell us about your particular event and what people, how much it is, all of that good stuff.
Sure. So this one's easy. This is the inaugural Economic Development Summit. And so it's a VIP reception on the 20th at Artisan Works in a room that's literally a replica of the set from Casablanca, which is going to be great because it's got the wraparound bar and there's going to be carving stations and past hors d'oeuvres and all of the things, right? At this event, at this particular part of the event, we're looking to bring together representatives from 4 or 5 organizations that work directly with entrepreneurs, providing them training and technical assistance. And we're calling it our Entrepreneur Support Organization panel. It's going to be moderated by our keynote speaker, who is Andy Stoll, who's the executive director of the EBLN, is the Ecosystem Building Leadership Network. And he used to work for Kauffman Foundation, running those efforts there to advance ecosystem building as a global practice and profession. So he's going to fly into town, talk to them about the power of collaboration in helping entrepreneurs conceive ideas, launch their businesses, and scale their businesses under the guise that entrepreneurship is a team sport. And after that panel, we're going to pass out 5 awards to recognize economic champions from our community. That's the first night. The next day, we're going to come back, welcome everybody, and Andy's going to come and give a powerful keynote on this concept of ecosystem building. And then we're going to kick off a small business panel where we hear from different businesses about their journey and their struggles and their lessons learned. And more importantly, who did they turn to for help to get them where they are? Because that's the part that we don't get to when we have these interviews and focus groups and talks about businesses. We don't talk about who they turned to for help and where they made mistakes and what were their greatest lessons learned and how can they pass that down so that the next person doesn't make the same mistakes. We'll go from there to breakouts. And so there's going to be a small business track where we're going to be hearing folks talk about understanding your financial statements. There's going to be a track focused on the people that serve entrepreneurs, and they're going to learn about this effort here to unite the 9 biggest buyers, the largest employers, to talk about how they're going to redirect their money locally to support local businesses getting those contracts. There's going to also be a panel workforce track where they're going to be learning about this New York Smart Innovation Corridor that Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse just got the designation for. Some people are calling it the Semiconductor Highway, right? Which is going to transform upstate Western and Central New York. Full stop.
How much did they invest in that?
Yeah. So back on July 2nd, and this is why I get so mad, George, because our community don't know about this. They don't know, even in your backyard, where Micron made this pledge of, was it $100 billion over 20 years and 50,000 jobs based out of their campus in Clay, New York. Well, guess what? That was part of the reason why we got the designation. And they just got $40 million to support that work back on July 2nd. It was awarded, where I believe it was Chuck Schumer came.
Yeah, Senator Schumer.
Yep. And was here talking about and celebrating this collaboration across our Tri-City region. Are we included in that Tri-City region, George?
We are.
Will Black businesses get contract opportunities from Buffalo to Syracuse if they're based out of Buffalo? Will workers in Buffalo or Syracuse be able to eventually ride a high-speed rail to Rochester to work their job and then bring that salary back home to Syracuse? These are the things that's starting to be talked about, and we not in the room.
That's right.
But at this summit, we're going to talk about these kinds of things. There's also going to be an expo in the afternoon where funders, capital providers, are going to be talking to the community and business owners about the types of things that they fund. What does it take to get funding from them? And on top of that, what types of services they buy and how to sell to their organizations, whether it's University of Rochester, who's one of our sponsors, or whether it's the Rochester Area Community Foundation, who's one of our sponsors, or if it's Venture Jobs Foundations or Pathstone Enterprise Center, who are community development financial institutions.
So we asked the question. You and I, in our previous chat, the question was, well, so if I'm in the Cuse and I'm an entrepreneur, why, I'm looking at my calendar here, why it's Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday night and then Thursday all day. Why am I making that track up the thruway?
Well, obviously, the main things is the networking is unparalleled, right? You're going to network. But the second thing is, the truth is, there's businesses in Syracuse, like the brother Wendell. I can't think of his last name. Wendell Gray. He's on the board over at UMEA. He has an office in Syracuse and Rochester. It makes sense. He's not the only person that does business across city lines. How many businesses in Syracuse would love to do business in Rochester, would love to do business in Utica, would
Mm-hmm.
love to do business in Niagara Falls, but they're not plugged into those ecosystems?
Mm-hmm.
This gives you an opportunity to start building those relationships. During those breakouts, there's going to be a session on understanding your financial statements, because when you do go for capital, your financial house needs to be in order. And secondly, we have someone from the city of Rochester's Office of Financial Empowerment. This sister's bad. Her name is Maisha Beard. She's going to be talking about their Kiva loan program. Now, it's only up to $15,000, but it's 0% interest.
Mm.
And you're able to apply for it again. If you received it and paid it back, you can apply for it again. It's a crowd-funded loan product. So they're going to be talking about that, how you apply for it, when is it appropriate, especially if you're not bankable yet. If you can't go over to your bank and say, hey, I need a $50,000 line of credit because I need to be able to float inventory, or I need to be able to float the cost of labor while I'm servicing this contract. How do you get bankable if you're not bankable? Tools like Kiva loans would be a way to start. And so coming to learn about those opportunities would be one of the reasons why small business in Syracuse would travel to Rochester for the event.
All right, let's talk about how do people, what's the cost to attend, or no, people who are putting on conferences like to use this language. What is the investment?
There
Oh,
you go. Well, it is an investment of your time and your talent and your treasure. So it depends. If someone wanted to come just to the VIP reception and it's a full meal and everything else from 6 to 9 o'clock at night, it's $65. If someone wanted to come to the all-day summit only, George, it's $125. So you put that together if you want to do both. Now, here's the other thing, because there are some generous souls in Syracuse, just like there are in Rochester. If you wanted to sponsor business owners, college students that are interested in economic development, or early career professionals in the workforce, community, economic, or business development fields, $500 will sponsor two people to fully attend both events and get your organization or your family, if you're an individual sponsoring, recognition in our program and on our program website.
amen. All right. So what's the website that they need to go to? We'll have the link in this video or this audio, wherever you're hearing this. We'll have the link for you. But what's the website?
Sure. Just like everything is Cuse in Syracuse, everything is rock in Rochester. So literally it's www.rockedsummit.org.
rockedsummit.org. That's pretty easy to remember.
Yes.
rockedsummit.org.
And just so you know, rock is ROC, no K.
No K.
ROCED summit.org.
Summit.org. And, like I said, Lomax, as an entrepreneur yourself, you just announced to me that you took over the Rochester Economic Development Corporation.
Yes.
Not took it over, but you're now running it.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you can't take over a nonprofit, technically.
as I was going to say. So congratulations on that. Well, look, we wish you success. Mark your calendars, November 20th to the 21st at Artisan Works in Rochester, New York. It's the Economic Development Summit, part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And you should also know that you can follow up on rockedsummit.org. With that being said, Dr. Lomax Campbell, once again, congratulations on fatherhood. But more importantly, thank you for giving us the third eye vision of success. And so there was one more thing you wanted to add?
Yeah, we over here talking about how Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse is starting to synergize around innovation and receive $40 million of investments. Our community needs to know about those jobs, those contract opportunities. They need to know about where investments are going in these neighborhoods across these major metros, and who's talking to them about that. Before we started recording, George, we were kind of jousting back and forth.
Yes.
And you said, in one of our social circles, you said you wanted to be recognized as the voice.
Yes.
That raised the bar for our people.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure that the people heard that you should be the voice for the I-90 corridor as well, making sure Black and brown people aren't left out, and in the dark about what's going on in our backyard.
I received that prophetic word, my brother, and from your voice to God's ears, let's make that happen, y'all. Let's go. George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. Once again, the Rochester Economic Development Summit, November 20th, 21st at Artisan Works, rockedsummit.org. Inspiration for the Nation, the voice of the I-90 corridor, GK, George Kilpatrick.
There you go.